Well, good day, people out in YouTube land. It is SB Square, otherwise known as SpongeBob Squareballs, here to greet you today. I hope you're doing great. Sorry I'm a day late, but like I said, I'm still learning the whole YouTube thing, and I got some new lighting, so hopefully I'm not as it's not as dim here in the grotto as it was last time. I am actually here today because I'd like to talk to you about a surprising thing that I received purchased on eBay, and I was very pleasantly surprised and discovered a stand that I have completely fallen in love with. It is a great stand. We'll talk a little bit about the different types of stands that are available for 1/6 figures, and of course, I also will late in other future videos to talk about other different types of stands for slightly larger figures. But we're going to focus today on the 1/6 figures. I I think I mentioned in my introduction video that I'm a big fan of Dragon Ball. I mean, that is like one of my favorite animes. Now, all right, while I'm a big fan, I'm not a Dragon Ball head, so you're going to find me calling people by the wrong name all the time. I made up names for some of the characters. For example, now of course everybody knows Goku and Master Roshi, people Dragon Ball fans, and Krillin and Android 18 and Android 17, her brother, and the whole lot. But when it comes to like the different levels of Saiyan, I don't really know all the different levels. So what I do is that I just call them as they look. I'd be like, short yellow hair, long yellow hair. The one from GT, I call him Monkey Man because he's got a tail and he's all furry and he's part monkey and this, that, and the other. When he transforms by the moon into the giant monkey, I call him Giant Monkey. I think it's God level or something like that, where he's got silver hair or blue hair. I just call him silver hair, blue hair, pink hair. I don't know. Same thing with Broly. I call Broly, well, I know Broly, but I don't know all of his different forms. So just so you'll be aware, I will probably drive you crazy, and that's all right. But just know that I am a fan. I love the characters. Well, several years ago, there was a live action version of the Dragon Ball series called Dragon Ball Evolution. The movie sadly was not very good. Well, in my opinion, some people might like it. I didn't really care for it. It wasn't a good representation. And to be honest with you, Dragon Ball is probably a very difficult it's probably a very difficult anime to bring into live action. There are so many. It's not just the special effects, but the world that they built for Dragon Ball is fairly difficult to bring into reality. So the movie wasn't. I don't think it was cast well. It wasn't acted well. The writing was very poor. But the main antagonist, which was Goku, was played by an actor called Justin Chaplin. And I can't say that I was a huge fan of his portrayal, but there was something that I looked at and I said, you know what? I've got some nice anime heads that maybe I could customize and bring here. So I saw a Dragon Ball Evolution figure on eBay and I purchased it so I could use the body. I said, well, I'll take his head, maybe stick it on a Phison body, and then I'll take an anime head and shove it on here and make it a Goku. Then I got the figure and I noticed that the way that they put this figure together, it was completely proprietary. The the head, the way they put it, and the neck stem that you use to hold it on the head, to hold the head onto the body, was a little bit different than the typical ball joint that they use on other figures. So it wasn't easily adaptable. I didn't want to make a whole bunch of adjustments. And the same thing with the body. They use a very slim, I think it must have been a body that they engineered specifically for their figure. And I was a little disappointed. But I looked at the tailoring, which was very good. I liked the costume, his karate costume. And the more I looked at it, I said, you know, it's not that bad. And then as I looked further and saw how they engineered the body, it poses exceptionally well. I was able to get a lot of different poses out of this figure and was quite impressed with it. So I decided to keep it as is and said, well, this one will be a fun one to play with, or you know, put in figures. I can actually pose it, stick it in a display, maybe photographic or whatever. So I wanted to show you this particular figure, as well as analyze the stand that they use. This is the pose that I have had him in for the past 4 weeks. He has not fallen. He has not had any problems with it. And I was completely surprised by this. So let me first take him off of the stand, and I'm going to show you this figure. And please pardon my hands. My hands are a little shaky. I take medication for my kidney that makes my hands tremble. So I will try to hold him as steadily as I can. But yeah, this is Goku. He has the jointed arms with the so he doesn't have seamless arms, which some people will not like, but I have no problem with it because I've been working with ball jointed figures since the early 2000s, and so it doesn't really bother me at all. But yeah, he has swiveling joints here in the shoulders. He has good torso bend. He has good leg motion. I'm sorry. Out to the side, down, up, back. So it actually shows his movements, which are very, very close to what a regular human's, movements would be. He has the good neck swivel. And as I said, his karate gi and everything like that, impeccable tailoring. Now, I'm going to set him down for just a second, and we are going to talk about the stand. Okay? Let me show you how it comes in the box. Okay. It is a 2-part stand. This is the base. Now, this particular one is a metal base. I think some of the ones that this particular company uses are plastic, but they're still every bit as sturdy. The company that actually made this is Enterbay. Okay? And the figure, of course, is called Dragon Ball Evolution Goku. Here's the box. Okay. So, here is the thing. The thing that I like about this, there are different stands out in the community that can be used. There are ones which a lot of people know as crotch grabbers, where basically what it is a curved hook that goes between the legs and holds the figure up by the crotch. That type of stand can work. It does hold figures securely. It's not good for action movements. It's very good for stable standing poses, and you can modify them, but other than that, it's not as functional if you want to show action. Now, there are ones which in the community you will also hear called dynamic flight poles. I don't have one near me, but I will actually show one in future videos. The dynamic or action stands have a large flexible stand. Sometimes it has wire in the middle. Some of them may have multiple joints that actually allow it to twist and turn. Those are actually pretty good stands, especially if you're doing flying movements or if you are doing things that require a lot of action-based movements. Most of them will have a waist clip, which is kind of like a hooked type of thing that goes around the waist. Those are pretty good. If you have a figure that is using fabric, it works very well. For figures that maybe have fabric that have other materials like maybe latex or plastic or some other more delicate types of things, it may not be the best type of stand for long-term posing. So I'll give you examples of that again in future videos. But it is very good. Another thing, though, that you have to caution yourself against is with these dynamic stands, if you're doing flying motions, you have to be aware about the weight of the figure. If the figure is very top-heavy, for example, you have to be careful because those the stands, because they are flexible, they can hold their shape, but if the figure is very heavy, the figure may pull it over and it could wind up falling. So those stands do have limitations also. You also have the limitation of knowing that you have, if you're trying to make sure that the stand is not completely shown, you have to kind of manipulate things and try to hide the flight pole so that it's not seen as well. Now, this particular stand by Enterbay, I was very surprised about this. This stand, of course, it does have the waist grabber, but this is basically a steel or metal one, and it's ratcheted. So as you can see, click, 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 click. You can click the things around the waist, which means that you can adjust it. If you feel like the clamp is too tight, you can loosen it up, but it will still hold the figure because of the ratcheted nature of this. It will still hold it in place. Another good feature about this is that it bends. So you can tilt it back, forward. You can also twist it, which kind of can give you sideways motion. And the thing I like about this the most is that it is height adjustable. There's a little button, you might have seen these on, what are those things called? Anything where you might actually have to push the button and then pull it. There are these multiple little holes through here. You basically push in order to raise the height. You push that in, and then you pull it up and it locks in place. You want to go up again, you go up, you push it in and slide it up, which is going to give you the height, a little bit more height. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them, so I'm going to take it up to the top height. Okay, this is as tall as it goes, which is actually pretty good size. This is the base. The pole goes in this little area right here, and you have the stand. Now you can actually use a stand like this, which makes it a little bit smaller. If you want a little bit more of a profile and additional stability, you can bring it out like this. I will probably be inclined to use this if I wanted to have the figure faced this way, because you have this side-to-side motion area, which is going to kind of keep it more stable, kind of like a triangle. Okay, you got a good triangle here, 1, 2, and 3, and that will actually keep it stable. So when you put it down, it's going to be very stable. And I'm sorry you can't see this right here, but I'm going to have to work on that too. I'm going to have to figure out a good camera placement in order to properly show you this. But I'm still going to go on ahead and pose him. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take Goku, and I'm going to take his waist clamp and put it on him. Now, the thing I like about this figure, he's all fabric, so I can actually lift up the back of his gi, put the waist clamp here. I'm going to show you this in a minute. Okay. I can clip in the ratchets until it's kind of where I feel comfortable. Okay. So as you can see, he's here. And then flip this down in the back, and it's hidden. So as you can see, he's kind of floating right now. Now, I'm going to go ahead and try to initiate. I'm going to go back to that first pose because I really like that flying kicking pose that I had him in. Now, what's nice about the legs is that his legs also are ratcheted. Okay? I'm going to do a kicking leg. I'm going to arch his back just a little bit. Pull this up. Raise his heel. I'm going to give him a good fighting stance of his fighting arm. I'm going to turn his head. Now, Goku is flying through the air, doing his little karate, his flying karate kick. That was very fast, but as you can see, he's elevated quite a bit. So, so you can, and he's very stable, as you can see. I'm doing a lot of wiggling, shaking. That clamp is not going anywhere. Now, if I want to, I took the waist grab and pulled it up, so I can actually do a different type of pose if I want to. I can make it more of a flying motion by bringing it up where it's actually, instead of tilted to the side, it's more upright. I'm going to change his arms to kind of make it look like he's blasting off. And here's Goku flying. I need to straighten his leg out just a little bit. There we go. So this is Goku flying through the air. He's not on his Nimbus cloud right now, but he's just doing his Super Saiyan thing. So I really like this figure. I'm very impressed with him. I have not been as impressed with a figure in a long time. He's been very fun to play with, very fun to pose. I can get some really interesting poses out of him because of his engineering as well as the stand, but it's amazing. This one came with the figure, but I actually did go on eBay and purchased a few other of these Enterbay stands so I could use them with, I have a Miles Morales Spider-Man and a Peter Parker Spider-Man. I'm going to use those flight stands, these stands right here rather, with those two figures so I can put them in some good action figures. Maybe I'll have them sparring with each other or fighting or doing some fun stuff. And if I do, I may do a posing video and show that process and demonstrate that on the on one of my next videos. So I hope you learned a little something and had some fun. I'm having fun. I'm enjoying this, and I appreciate your patience. I actually just purchased some new lights so that, like I said, it was a little bit dim in the grotto. But I have a little bit of I got a little bit of color going on, and now I have some proper lighting, so it's not quite as dim. So we're going to kind of keep that going. I'm going to keep adding and doing new and different things here. So grow with me and come in and have some good fun with me. And again, my goal is to try to put out weekly content. If I can start becoming consistent by having everything I need in time, my goal is to try to put out content on Wednesdays of each week. So be on the lookout for me. Be sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. I'd love to have you as a member of my channel. Feel free to share me with your friends. And like the old folks used to say back in the day, if the Lord is willing and the creek don't rise, I'll see you on the next. Peace out. Deuces.